Welcome to the Milton Gymnasium for match 2 of our quadruple header. Hi, I'm Jackson Bass with Bailey Engel here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Bailey, Thomas More comes in today to try to break a 4-match losing streak, whereas the Bruins try to get their first win in school history.
Well, it's good to be with you, Jackson. And yeah, we saw Carolina University play earlier on today, and they really did struggle against a Bluefield College team and really just got pounded in those first 3 sets, 25-15, 25-16, and then 25-14. And you can expect that from a Carolina University program. They're in their first year and now going up against the Thomas More team that really needs a bounce-back win.
Some of the key players for this Thomas More Saints team is John Nunez-Gonzalez, Tanner Miller, Mason Cobbler, Chris Carlson, and Quentin Roberts.
Yeah, you got to look out for Nunez-Gonzalez. He's a guy that grew up in the Dominican Republic, played high school ball in Florida, really big volleyball state, now playing here today, and already starting off with the service error, Jackson.
Here comes the serve from Smart. Bump from Smart. Set from Taj. Set from Taj.
Well, you see there for Bryant just trying to bump the ball up, and for Ronald Smart, you got to see what for Carolina University can do here. You already saw that Glasgow. He's a guy to really watch out for Carolina University. Taj Glasgow, the setter who actually played as a state champion in South Carolina, and so far he's really been the most experienced volleyball player on this entire squad.
Yeah, and that was just a set from McHenry, and they just got the point.
Yeah, Thomas More coming into this game with 4 wins on the year. And it's really interesting. We're going to have to see what they can do against Bluefield in the final matchup of this one, because Rams have now 7 wins on the year, but one of those losses was to Thomas More and already an ace.
Yeah, McHenry is just, he's hitting the ball and he's getting it right over.
Yeah, McHenry going a bit low that time, got a piece of the tape to able to drop it in. Carolina University, let's see how they are able to capitalize on some of these mistakes from Thomas More, because that was not a perfect serve by any means.
Yeah, and in the first set we saw between Bluefield and Carolina, we saw there wasn't a lot of chemistry on the court for both the teams. But, Bluefield was able to make less mistakes, and it came in the long run.
Yeah, and I think that it goes to a little bit more experience and definitely more depth for Bluefield against Carolina University. Because Carolina, you look, they only have 2 players right now on the bench. And with just 7 players to work with, it does make it very hard to win.
And Pickett just knocked it out. Serve from McHenry. And it's out.
Yeah, a little bit too far from McHenry. And really just trying to roll the dice a little bit with a tough serve.
We're going to see Glasgow serve first time.
Yeah, Glasgow, big athlete on the floor.
Really service error.
Yeah, tough one there, trying to spin the ball right over the net.
I went up to him prior to the match and asked him how he spelled his name. He said, "I just wanted you to call me Taj."
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter, and I'm glad that you got to actually have that interaction with him. Really talented setter.
Serve from Litzler. And Osborne.
Yeah, we didn't get to see Osborne in that first matchup. Actually got to sit on the bench for all 3 of those sets against Bluefield College, and Osborne coming out here strong in game 2.
And that was a serve from Brady Bartlett. We talked about Pickett, and as I was talking to Taj, he told me that Pickett and Wilson, who actually both went to Freedom Christian Academy, are actually related.
Wow. So both of them went to Freedom Christian Academy, one from Christiansburg, Virginia, and the other from North Carolina. And for those of you who don't know, there's a big slap right there in the middle of the floor, but those of you who don't know, Christiansburg is not that close to North Carolina, so it's pretty interesting they're still able to go to school together as well.
Yeah, it's in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's not close at all to Christiansburg.
You ever been to Fayetteville?
No, actually, I have not. Or there's a big military presence, though.
It's about to be served from Connor Young, sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. Big hit from Stephen Wilson. Knocked up by Young. Hit by Diggs. Saved by McHenry. And knocked over by Cobbler.
Already looks like Thomas Moore able to just pass a little bit better, but Osborne, look at that, Jackson, just making a difference already.
Yeah. And we were talking about Mason Cobbler. He's the transfer from Cincinnati Christian.
Yeah, Cincinnati Christian, for those of you who don't know at home, Cincinnati Christian actually closed in the midst of the fall semester in 2019. So it's been interesting that a lot of their sports were already mid-season at the time. There's another big block for Carolina University with Ronald Smart, but CCU actually had to stop in the middle of their football season, and that was the first football season where they won multiple games. Any games, for that matter.
Knocked up by Young. Knocked back over by Ware. Hit bump by Young. Casson couldn't get it over.
I've seen some good passes from Thomas Moore, and this is kind of like what we saw in the first set with Carolina and Bluefield, right? Going back and forth, making each other make mistakes each time. And quite frankly, Carolina University has looked a bit better, especially in the middle.
And that serve just by Diggs. Diggs up to serve again.
Yeah, got to watch out for Ronald Smart, the 6'6" graduate student that was a soccer player.
Here's a serve. Knocked over by Cobbler. Set by Glasgow.
Oh, Carolina up by 2.
Comes a serve from Diggs. It's knocked over. Hit by Cobbler. Up by Young. And out by Cameron Ware.
Looked like he got a piece of it, though, in the back line. Looked like Bartlett threw his hands up and the ball just scurried away. So the serve goes back to Thomas Moore here.
Up to serve for the Saints is Quentin Roberts. Roberts was a Los Angeles native. And the serve goes back to Carolina.
Carolina, huh? I mean, you see that Thomas Moore seems to have the communication on their side, but just no execution so far. And Carolina's been able, with that pretty talented middle block, capitalize a few times.
And Cobbler just hit it a little too hard right there, so point Carolina. It's still a really close game.
Yeah, still very close, and for Carolina, you see a good amount of confidence and now a timeout.
And we're going to go to break. And we're back. And, you know, really impressive. Someone who's really impressed me is Mason Cobbler, the Cincinnati Christian transfer. He's had 115 kills this year alone. The Westerville, Ohio native. He's a really key part in this Thomas More offense. We're back from the timeout with pick it up to serve. Pick a serve. Knocked over by Litzler. Oh, and knocked right back over by Carlson.
A good job by Thomas More to get the point right after the timeout.
Here comes the serve by Casson. Set up by Wilson. And spiked right down. And it's out.
Yeah, good rip down, but it was just out. I think Stephen Wilson was a little bit frustrated with that because he got a good swing on it in a full palm, and now it's already a one-point game again.
We have Casson up to serve again. Knocked up by Diggs. Set by Glasgow. Oh, and Smart had a hold of it. Back up to Diggs. Wilson knocks it back over. And Thomas More just couldn't recover, giving up that point.
Well, Thomas More, once again, for the Saints. I mean, it just seems like they have each other's passes telegraphed so well and just have not been able to execute properly.
Serve from Wilson. It's over by Litzler. Knocked back by Cobbler. Set up by Wilson. And spiked down by Ronald Smart.
Yeah, Ronald Smart. He's a guy that can really make a difference for the Bruins in this one. And you just see their team looks a lot more confident, especially right there in the middle because of Ronald Smart and because of a guy like Osborne that came off of the bench.
He's a set by, oh, and service error.
Yeah, for Wilson, that's a pretty tough service error. Trying to really get into a rhythm in this game, you finally feel like you have one, and now it's just a two-point game again.
But Carolina is looking to get their first set win in school history, and they're on their way to do so. As I say that, it's knocked out by Cobbler.
Yeah, and certainly helping Carolina here. Playing against a Thomas More team that's lost 4 in a row, and it kind of just seems like that the Saints are the ones that are making more of the mistakes rather than Carolina actually attacking well, and then right after that, keeping a minute with a service error.
I think that Carolina just needs to get back where they are, and they're working together more now than they were in the first set.
Well, they are, and I think that middle block especially has been a little bit tougher on Carolina, who hasn't really established an outside hitting presence as of yet.
McHenry's up to serve again. It's hit over, and it's out.
Yeah, just another gift to Carolina.
We've talked about Taj Glasgow and how he's one of the few people with prior experience in college, and he's a big leader on this team.
It definitely is, especially in the attack. We're seeing some of the setups or the assists he's been able to tally, and now we're looking at Thomas More able to get a point back. But with Glasgow, you see the way that he sets, and you can just tell that this is a guy with a plethora of, an arsenal of volleyball experience and just options that he has to use on the court.
And we just saw in the prior play the first big hit by Jan Nunez-Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Thomas More to get back into this game without more of that from him. And now you look at it for Thomas More up, 16-13. Or, Carolina University is.
Knocked up by McHenry. Set by Cobbler. Put down by Ware.
Yeah,
he gets the tip of it.
Yeah, just Cameron Ware came down. He didn't even get the best swing off of it and puts the Saints back within 2.
Thomas More about to serve with Connor Young. Connor Young, the sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, you're looking for a team near Ohio. Thomas More, one of them, coming from Florence, Kentucky. There's a service error, though.
Smacked it right out of there. And Diggs back up to serve. Such a great last name for volleyball.
Yeah, especially when you're a defensive specialist. It's probably the best one.
Casson knocks it back over. Ronald Smart hits it over. Set by Young, and it's out.
And once again, out. I'd like to see how many points for Carolina have came off of errors, either on the attack or on the serve for Thomas More.
I'd have to say a good bit of them.
Yeah, at least half at this point, I mean, right? But
That's the biggest part about volleyball is that it's a game of mistakes. St. McHenry knocks it up. Cobbler hitting it over. Set by Diggs. Smacked over by Pickett. Set by Young. And smacked over by Ware. Big hit from Wilson. Set up by Young. Smacked into the other side by Cobbler.
See what Wilson can do.
And it's knocked over.
Yeah, Wilson, a great job gliding up to that net. Stephen Wilson, the 5'11 freshman. How about this, Jackson? A 5-point lead for Carolina, a team that lost by 11 earlier today in the final set. But, wow, only 6 away now from a set 1 victory in the first in school history.
It's extremely impressive what they're able to do, and they look like a team this time.
Well, you still see what Cameron Ware was able to do there, floating the ball right over the net.
And in for them is Quentin Roberts, someone we said is a pillar in this offense for the Saints.
Yeah, it could be a huge difference.
Quentin Roberts was a CIF champion, which California's a pretty tough state in just about any sport you do.
Yeah, especially for volleyball. I mean, it's a little bit more of a volleyball area than what we see here in Virginia. But you also got to give props to where Thomas More is. Kentucky is a humongous volleyball state.
And just with that, we have Roberts have the service error.
Right.
Ware comes right back in for Roberts. About to have the serve from Pickett. Here comes the serve, and it's set up by Young. Go by Cobbler, and spiked under by Casson.
Yeah, got it right over. The block was just not able to substantiate that one. And the Louisville, Kentucky native gets a big kill. Look at Thomas More right back into it.
They bring in Jan Nunez to finish out the set.
Yeah, see, they need 8 more for the Bruins. Only 5 away now.
Casson up to serve. He knocks it over to the right side of the pillar.
Wow. I mean, that's just been kind of the story of set number 1. Finally feel like you have a little bit of momentum for Thomas More, but Carolina University can smell it now, only down from 4 away.
You say that with a serve by Wilson. Knocked back over by Nunez Gonzalez. Set up by Glasgow and hit right back over to Wilson. That's out.
Yeah, once again out. It's just been back and forth, mistake after mistake for each team. And right now, Carolina's just made fewer of them.
Ready for the serve is Mason Cobbler, the Cincinnati Christian transfer. Knocks it over, and it's in. Making Thomas More a 2-point game from Carolina.
Yeah, that's a great serve, dropping right over. And everybody on Carolina just kind of played Olay to that one, didn't they? I mean, just dropped right in before the back boundary.
This is Cobbler with the serve. It's over. Knocked over by Wilson, set up by Smart, and net violation.
And it's going to be a net violation on Smart and a timeout.
And we'll take a break.
21-20, Jackson. Big game coming up here. Final moments.
And we're back. Thomas More ready to serve with Mason Cobbler.
Only a 1-point game, Jackson. At one point, Carolina led by 5. You're starting to see with some big serves here from Cobbler that the Saints are getting right back into it.
Serve from Cobbler, and it's out.
Oh, just as I say that, right? I mean, it's just how it goes. Tons of serves, tons of service errors in this one for both sides, but really mainly for Thomas More. Carolina is only 3 away.
Glad to see the 6'6" Jamaican native getting to serve. And as it's hit over by Jan Nunez-Gonzalez.
Yeah, Nunez-Gonzalez going with a little bit of finesse there at the middle of the net, poking the ball right over the block that has been so good for Carolina in this one. But looks like we might have a situation in which you're going to have to score more than 25 to win set number 1.
McHenry's about to serve, and he's really impressed me. He wasn't one of the key players that was picked out, but he's really been a part of this offense.
Yeah, especially with those serves, right?
It's hit over by Bartlett.
Now Bartlett, once again, Carolina, see what their most experienced guy can do in Taj Glasgow.
Todd is a big key player in this Carolina, and he, as I say that, he knocks it out of the court.
Yeah, once again, just a little bit too hot on that service error, right? Just a little too far, and that's what's been the story today on both sides.
Litzer, the libero, serves. Dig hits it. Set by Glasgow and spiked up by Bartlett. McHenry hits it up. Hit over by Casson. Sent by Dig. And Glasgow knocks it just in the wrong direction, and it catches them.
Yeah, it's a big block and already tied up right there to get it. Brock Casson right in the middle on that joust, able to tie it back up. And once again, we're going to have a timeout, Jackson.
And we're going to go right to break. And we're back. Thomas More up to serve with Litzler. Libero.
Yeah, it's going to be a big serve, right? 23-23. Carolina was at one point leading by 5. Thomas More able to come back, and now first team to the next 2 points is able to win this one.
Totally sees going into extra points. Litzer knocks it over, and it's in!
What an ace right there. The same play we saw from earlier for Carolina. They all turned around and watched the ball. They have just left that back line so wide open. And now, here we go with set point.
Litzer with set point. He knocks it over. Diggs recovers. And Thomas More. And we're going to have to go into extra points.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to, right? So right now, Carolina able to wipe that set point opportunity off of the board. Got to win by 2.
Brady Bartlett from Freedom Christian Academy with the set. Knocks it up for McHenry. Hit back over. Glasgow sets and spiked by Diggs. Set by Cobbler. Knocked over by Casson. And it's out.
Yeah, Casson once again. So now we're going to have to see a situation in which
it's match point
for
the Bruins.
Match point coming up for the Bruins.
Brady Bartlett up to serve again. He knocks it over.
Excuse me, set point.
By Miller. Or by McHenry. Digs up. Glasgow. Oh, and now we're back tied again, 25-25.
Yeah, Casson right there in the middle of the net to knock the ball down, 25-25.
We're going to have Young serve for the Saints. The underclassman from Cincinnati knocks it over. Diggs getting under it. Set by Glasgow. Over by Pickett. Set by Cobbler. And it's out.
It's again just out. So now once again, you're going to see set point coming up for Carroll.
We're going to go to break. And we're back. Set point for the Bruins with Diggs up to serve. Diggs really impressed us in the first game and now. And I'm glad to see Carolina is they're not showing as much as the fact that they don't have as much experience. And as I say that, Diggs hits it into the net.
Yeah, and I mean, right there, once again, another set point opportunity where Carolina just kind of fumbles it around. So now 26-26, going a little bit longer. Seeing that this might be a little bit more evenly matched than we had thought. And you got to think back to when it was 19-14, Carolina led by 5. And now a humongous serve here for Quentin Roberts to Thomas More.
Serve by Quentin Roberts. Knocks it over. Under with Diggs. And it's set. Oh. Point Thomas More.
So Thomas More. Oh, they blew a quick whistle there. So now another set point.
Up. Knocked over by Wilson. And it's point Carolina. And now it's 27-27 once again.
Yeah, we're going back and forth. Remember, you got to win by 2. A humongous rule here because Carolina has had a couple of set point opportunities, and the only team, well, Thomas More, that just had their first and weren't able to do anything about it.
Set. Pickett knocks it over. There he goes, Wilson. Bartlett. Cobbler, and it's knocked out of there by Casson.
Now they try to go with that slide play there, setting up Casson right at the pin and blasted the ball too far. And Jackson, once again, we got another set point.
And the Bruins, they're got their fight in them. They're really wanting to win this first set in school history.
Yeah, but what can they do right here?
Pickett knocks it over, and Cobbler brings it back to an even 28-28.
Yeah, Cobbler with the dump there, the setter. Just noticed that nobody was around him on that block and just ripped the ball down. So once again, to take away your set point, all even again. It's going to take at least 30 to win this one.
Casson up to serve. He smacks it. Under is Wilson. Up by Pickett and over by Bartlett. You know, Pickett did not look ready for that last one.
No, not at all, and neither did young man over there in Glasgow right at the pin, and now we're going to see a set point for Thomas More. Is this going to be enough?
Brought Casson up to serve once again. Knocks it over. And it's out. And now we're all tied up again.
I don't think either team really wants to win this one, Jackson. I mean, it's coming down to that. Another service error. And that was pretty close, though. Almost dropped in. Could have been a big ace. Now Carolina right back.
In their last 4 losses, Thomas More has not won a set.
Pretty
Knocked
tough
up
for
by
the
Cobbler.
tough for the Saints here.
And now it's match points Brewers once again.
Wow. I mean, that went right down. See what Carolina can do, though.
Will the Bruins be able to finish it here?
I mean, it's going to come down to a good serve from Wilson.
Wilson knocks it up, and it's over, and it's out once again. We're tied 30-30.
Yeah, it's just both teams not finding a way to calibrate that attack. And Steven Wilson, I don't think that's a horrible serve, but boy, that was just a few feet out, and both teams right back. Here we go.
Cobbler sets it up and smacks it. Knocked over by Bartlett. And it's point Bruins. Set point again.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, set point for the Bruins, 31-30. See what Carolina can do. It's up to Smart now.
Smart, the Jamaican native, knocks it over with ease. Set up by Cobbler. Knocked over by Jan Nunez. And spiked out by Bartlett. And now we're tied once again, 31-31.
31-31. I mean, Thomas More, if the pattern serves correctly, they're going to get an ace right here, and then the next serve is going to go into the parking lot. So we'll see what McHenry can do, who's been a pretty good server today for Thomas More.
He has. He knocked over. Up by Wilson. It's up by Glasgow. Hit over by Bartlett. And it's Bruins point.
Yeah, so Bartlett attacking the block and try to see what they can do here. Glasgow, this might be the guy you want to serve this one to win set number 1. They haven't won a set before.
Up by Glasgow, knocked over, and service error. We're back again, 32-32.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's all you can say, Jackson. It's just gone on a long time here already. I mean, whew. Remember, 25 is all you have to score.
I wonder what the highest scoring NAIA match is.
Yeah, we're going to have to look that up. And remember, we're only in set 1, so we got 2 more sets of this.
Knocked over by Bartlett, up by Cobbler, up by Litzler. Dig.
Had a good one.
Pickett. Henry knocks it up. Cobbler. And float. Oh! And the Bruins are at set point again.
Yeah, and it was Osborne. Osborne didn't play that first time.
But Osborne's showing why he should be on the court this round.
Yeah, and now we're going to see what Bartlett can do here. Set point for Carolina. Another chance at it.
Bartlett up to serve. Dribbling a little bit. Knocks it over. McHenry. Cobbler. Casson. And we're back at it 33-33.
Just doesn't end. Wow. And a great job by Thomas More. I mean, you look at what they've been able to do for most of that first set. You can just tell that their passes are a little bit more timely than Carolina, but they just haven't been able to do anything about it.
Yeah, they recovered from a 5-point deficit, and Wilson knocks it over. Young, Roberts, and it's out.
All right, so one more go at it here. Carolina with a set point. I think this is going to come down to it mentally, too. Carolina, they just have to decide inside of their hearts and their minds that they can drop this next one in.
It's it over by Roberts. Smart hits it. Litzler. Cobbler. Hit over by Casson. Lasso knocks it up. Set by Diggs. Oh, and smacked Diggs right in the face. Wilson knocked it back over. Hit over by Roberts. Picked up by Diggs. So by Glasgow. And there's the point, Thomas More. And now it's 34-34.
So they call a ball handling error on a lift, to be exact, on Ronald Smart. And just like that, I think the officials really enjoy how this first set has gone, so they want to keep going. So take away set point once again.
Roberts up to serve. Roberts smacks and service error. And now it's back to Bruins set point.
I think that this might be, let's do the math here. It's got to be at least the 10th time.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
Served by Pickett. Young sets it. Set by Cobbler. Knocked over. And it's
wow.
out of there again.
It just keeps going. Right off of the block, and a great job on the outside by Thomas Moore's Chris Carlson.
Golly.
Golly is right.
3 more of these.
Right.
I'm talking about games, not sets here.
Oh.
Hit over by Casson. Service error. Bruins set point once again.
All right, one more go at it. See what Carolina can do.
I think you're right. I think it is going to end up being a mental capacity here.
Right. It just what can you do? Have it right in front of you. What can Wilson do?
That's out by Wilson, and now they're
My gosh.
tied once again, 36-36.
Ugh.
Cobbler up to serve. Cobbler serves. Set up by Diggs. It's smacked in. And now it's set point Saints.
Set point Saints, and a big block right in the middle. See what the Saints can do here.
Cobbler up to serve once again. Cobbler with the serve. And set error violation.
Yeah, that's a service error. And I mean, for Carolina, you got to just thank your lucky stars you still have a chance in this. I mean, because for the last 9 times, and you got to say the same thing for Thomas More, it's just both of these teams haven't really deserved it. Not defensively, they fought it off, but oof.
And it's set point Bruins once again with that knockout by Ware. Check that, Carlson. Ronald Smart up to serve. It's a release with Litzler. Cobbler. Over by Casson. Oh. Pickett hits it over with Cobbler setting it. Picked over by Carlson. And we're tied once again, 38-38.
So for the novice volleyball fan, remember, you can win a set 25-23. You can win it at 25. It's first to 25, but you got to win by 2. So we are 13 points past that. And remember, that's 13 points for one team. So there has at least been 26 plays here beyond set point.
McHenry up to serve. McHenry knocks it.
Oh, what a
Set
serve.
by Wilson. Glasgow. Over by Pickett. Led by Glasgow. And it's out by Dylan Osborne. And it's error after error after error.
And that's the thing I think that is frustrating is the fact that both of these teams haven't really been able to pound the ball in most of the time. But let's see you can do with McHenry here.
Henry serves. Up by Diggs. Up by Glasgow. And it's over. Thomas More wins their first set in 12. And with that, we go to break. And we're back. And we just looked it up. And the longest one was an 87-85 game in the Czechoslovakian League in the 1970s.
In 1979. So another thing with that, Czechoslovakia no longer exists. That country has since been broken up. So that's how long it's been. So 87-85. And that was in a professional league. So 40 to 38, mostly from errors, is pretty tough. And you got to feel for Carolina University that just mentally trying to get over that hump, and they have not won a set yet, and they had so many chances to do so, and just were unable to get it done. And Thomas More, got to give it to him. They were down by 5 at one point. I think about 7 hours ago it was 19 to 14, and they came back and were able to tie it up multiple times, obviously, and win that one 40. You heard it right, folks. 40 to 38.
The longest one in Bluefield?
Well, yeah. And what's crazy, this is obviously the neutral game for us, and both Jackson and I are Bluefield College broadcasters, but I don't think I've ever seen one go to 40. I think I've seen one hit 32, maybe 31, and thought like, wow, what a set. But 40 to 38 is pretty incredible. And I think for Carolina and Thomas More, we kind of want to learn from that set there. And Thomas More, you got to give it to him. They were able to fight through that and not mentally give up, even with all of those hurdles that were presented to them. But boy, that was really tough.
You know, and I'm looking at Thomas More's roster, and only 2 people on that roster are under 6 feet.
Wow. Yeah, Thomas Moore's got a ton of height, too. Like you said, I mean, with 6'6" on the Carolina side and Ronald Smart, and he looks like obviously the tallest guy out there, Thomas More should be able to win with a little bit more ease with the height that they do have.
As we say that, Wilson knocks it right out of there. And now it's point for Thomas More, and Cobbler's up to serve.
Cobbler was a big part of the reason why that went 40 to 38 with a couple of those dump plays when Carolina had a set point.
As you say that, it knocked right back into it, and now it's 2-0 Thomas More. Cobbler up to serve once again. It's up, and he smacks it across. And oh, good save by Pickett. Knocked over by Glasgow, set by Cobbler, and knocked over by Nunez Gonzalez. And Pickett knocks it over and gets the point for the Bruins.
Yeah, the Bruins still able to fight. You can tell that they still care. And I mean, you could tell with a team that starts out the year 0-11, you can really just be able to pack it in. It would be easy to do that. But the Bruins really have not given up today, and you really have to give it to them for that.
I got to commend them with Ronald Smart's serve right there. But they, any team that was so close to that probably wouldn't be able to recover that well. And it looks like they are right in the beginning of set 2.
Yeah, and you can also tell that this is really an evenly matched contest. I mean, Thomas More with only 4 wins on the year, and it's not an incredible record on their own right. And with Carolina University kind of matching up well with them in that middle blocking position.
Henry knocks it over. Set by Glasgow, over by Pickett, and it's tipped out of there. Point Bruins.
And Bruins going up against the block, and you're seeing even with the height of Thomas More, they have been unable to really capitalize the whole time.
Glasgow with the serve, and it's out. Litzler up to serve, libero.
He had that big ace that wiped off a set point opportunity for Carolina.
This is the Carolina is slowing down. It kind of looks like the ones we saw in Game 1 versus Bluefield.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for head coach Ferguson. Because now Thomas More never led by more than 3 in that first set, and are already doing so here.
Litzler knocks it over. Up by Glasgow. Over by Pickett. Up by Roberts, and Roberts fumbles into the net.
It's just been kind of like that. And I know that Tony Martin told you this a few days ago, but I have thought of it, and how this sport is capitalizing on the other team's mistakes and making less mistakes. And I think in that first set, it was just Italia who was going to make the least amount of mistakes.
You say that, Bruins make another one with Osborne accident, and knocked it over. Up is the underclassman, Connor Young. And if you're just joining us, it's 6-3 Thomas More in our neutral game.
Yeah, 1-0. The first one was 40 to 38 Thomas More.
Thomas More starting to widen their margin of victory by making it 7-3 now, which is, as Bailey said, the largest gap they've had in these two sets. Spike right back down by Quentin Roberts at the net.
Yeah, Quentin Roberts, we talked about him in that first set, a little bit quiet, now starting to see Thomas More make a little bit more noise to begin set number 2. And Carolina just looks a little bit tired.
Connor Young knocks it over, set up by Glasgow. Over by Pickett, McHenry, or by Casson. Set by Cobbler. McHenry hits it into the net. Point Bruins. Oh. Yes. Wesley digs up to serve. This is up, knocks it over. Young knocks it up. Cobbler sets. Ware. McHenry. Cobbler sets it. Ware floats it over. Ronald Smart gets a hand on it. It drops.
I went against the middle block and just floating that ball over. I'm going to drop it right in anyway. Thomas More looks a little bit more motivated. And I'm not sure if it's because Carolina looks less motivated or Thomas More is actually waking up a little bit, but it certainly seems like they have. 9-4.
I was trying to figure out how to pronounce some of the names for Thomas More. I went over to Quentin Roberts. He was really nice about it. I really appreciate that.
It'd be odd if he was just like, no, you got to figure this out on your own, how to pronounce my name.
As I said, it's knocked out by Glasgow. And they keep widening their lead. They bring in Jan Nunez Gonzalez, who has been a key player. We don't see him a lot, but he's been a really key player in this offense.
Yeah, in this rotation, especially in the defense, actually, Jackson, just doing a great job in the middle. And we saw a couple of big blocks when Carolina needed set point.
As Cassett knocks it out, point Bruins. Got Wilson up to serve. Wilson knocks it over. Set by Cobbler. It's spiked hard by Carlson, but it's out. Oh, it's in. Basic Cobbler up to serve. Knocks it over, and it's out.
Yeah, just another service error. It kind of seemed like each team was just throwing wide haymaker after wide haymaker of service error right there at the end of set 1. And Thomas More trying to break up the rhythm of those mistakes. And a big ace for Smart.
Litzler knocked it over, and Jan got a hand on it, but it knocked it right into the net. With Ronald Smart up to serve again. It's crazy. He makes it look like it's just lightly picking up and go kind of swatting it just a little.
Yeah, not really jumping through it. Just a lot of strength there for Smart.
We talked about him in the first set. He's a soccer player, and I'd be really scared to go up against him and as a defender.
Yeah, well, I'd imagine that Ronald Smart had to be pretty good when you wanted to set up something on a corner kick right in front of the net and maybe throw in a deep cross so he can head the ball in.
Henry up to serve. Henry knocks it over. Tips the net. Glasgow. Pick it. And point More.
I think it might have been a ball handling error there. It's a double, actually.
13-8 the score. McHenry up to serve. Big hit. Glasgow set. Sucked over by Pickett. And gets a hand on it, and it's out.
Oh, Jackson at least For those of you at home hearing that ambient sound, it's the fan at the middle of the dome. It's luckily not the furnace blowing into our faces, so the temperature has actually dropped a little bit in here.
That got pretty hot in the beginning. Blitzer knocked it up, and Osborne hits it twice, and it's point more. Thomas More is in Kentucky.
Yeah, Florence, Kentucky, right outside of Cincinnati. When you go to the Thomas More website, they actually have the Cincinnati skyline in the background.
I talked to somebody at Thomas More, and they were talking about how they have this really cool degree. It's a sports entertainment degree, and how a lot of them get to help out the Cincinnati Reds with all that.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, it makes it definitely a pretty hard bargain to go there if you want to do that and work with the Cincinnati Reds. When you say sports entertainment, obviously all sports are entertainment, but I can't help but thinking of the WWE, who really likes to brand themselves as sports entertainment.
And that's exactly what I thought when I heard it. Yeah, Thomas More used to be Division III, coming into the NAIA a couple years ago.
Yeah, we got to wrestle them earlier this year as well. Thomas More had a couple of ranked guys, I believe, at it was 157.
157, 84, and then they're 97 All-American as well as at 57.
Wow.
Up to serve is Connor Young. It's up, knocks it over. Over is Diggs. Glasgow, Osborne hits it out. 16-11. And is that it is 16-11, and we're gonna go to the break. And we're back, and the score is 17-11 with Connor Young up to serve.
Yeah, it's been more of Thomas More in the second set. Remember, for those of you just now joining us, it was 40-38 at the end of set number one. We went extended all the way into 40 points. How about that? But I hear Thomas More making a few less mistakes and showing that they have a little bit more experience and a lot more chemistry as well.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of those guys, they got to play in high school, which is what Carolina University, formerly Piedmont International, is lacking.
Yeah, and you can tell with just that experience. I mean, it's the first year of the program, and you take a look at this, not that many players actually played volleyball in high school before this. So it's really tough when you're playing a varsity college sport, and it's your first year ever even playing it.
And we just had that kill by Casson. But, yeah, I mean, outside of the Ronald Smart, the Jamaican native, everybody else on that team is a freshman.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of potential there for Coach Ferguson, just trying to bring in some new players. And the thing that Carolina University does have going for it is the fact that it's in Winston-Salem, pretty bustling area in North Carolina, and can bring in some players to a pretty big area.
Roger Pickett up to serve. Hits it over. Up by Young. Kovler. Floated over by Casson. Hit over by Glasgow, and it's in. Carlson floats it over and gets it right in.
Yeah, Carlson doing a good job there against that block right down the line. And Oh, Carolina, I feel like for a lot of these points that have dropped in, they've just kind of looked around and waited for the ball to drop, but it just hasn't for them.
We say that Caston is up to serve. The sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, in DuPont Manual High School. I think of DuPont, I think of
Jeff Gordon?
no.
Oh. Maybe we're different in that way.
There was, well, trust me, Jeff Gordon is my favorite NASCAR driver of all
okay.
time, but driver by Ware. Spiked down by Smart. A lot of power.
Yeah, Ronald Smart's just been keeping that, by the way. I mean, just hiding that. When a ball absolutely teed up to him, punishing it, and the libero and Litzler wasn't able to do anything about it.
Wilson knocks it over. Set by Cobbler. Smacked by Carlson. 3 guys just get a piece of it. And now Thomas More is 5 away from a set 2 victory.
Yeah, and this is the exact part of the game we saw in set number 1 where Carolina had a 5-point lead. So are the Bruins able to channel what they saw out of Thomas More in set 1?
Cobbler up to serve. Cobbler knocks it over. Hit by Wilson. Set by Glasgow. Smacked over. Oh, and a big block by Jackson Centered.
Yeah, very good block there. And the block has been such a difference for both teams in this matchup, and we've seen more of it for Thomas More right at the end of set 1 and now all through set 2.
Cobbler knocks it over, and it's out of there. You know, as I notice, I look at the Thomas More roster. It doesn't say freshman, it says first year.
Yeah, well, I wonder if that is – I know at the University of Virginia they have that idea because – Thomas Jefferson, who is not the same as Thomas More, obviously, but Thomas Jefferson, who founded the University of Virginia, said there's no such thing as a senior in education, which I'm like, I kind of roll my eyes at. But be that as it may, first year. So maybe Thomas Moore's doing the same thing.
I thought at first it was to delineate red shirts from true freshmen. And that big slam from Dan, well, I thought it was in, but apparently it towed the line a little too much.
Yeah, and that was perfect right to him and had the idea of where he wanted to go with that and just missed the mark.
Ronald Smart up to serve. Big power hitter. Makes it look easy. Knocks it over. Cobbler sets. Big hit by Casson. Just knocks into Wilson, and it's out.
Yeah, so look now, Thomas More only 3 away. What is Carolina going to try to draw up to keep this one close here? And what can Thomas More do with McHenry ready to serve?
Henry, a big server for this Thomas More crew. Henry up to serve. Dribbles a little bit. Hits it over. Go floated by Glasgow, and it's in. Point Bruins.
Yeah, Bruins, look, they're hanging tough. They're playing a lot better game than, or a lot better couple of games than we saw against Bluefield earlier on. Look, they are just 3 away. This one is not over.
By Glasgow, set by Cobbler, and a big smack by Jan, which tips a couple of the Bruins, and it's out.
Now, Jan Nunez-Gonzalez finally starting to get into this one consistently. We hinted at him. It was going to be tough for him to, or we thought he was going to be a huge player and tough against Carolina, and now he's certainly starting to be that.
As we say that, Casson comes in for him. Point broke.
So I think that Carolina is definitely a bit confused, or Thomas More is a bit confused why that one didn't drop. On the swing, it was from Cameron Ware, and it appeared that the ball popped over, and I believe one of the middles for Carolina actually got a piece of it, and it rolled in. So normally, it looks like that would just be a cut and dry point for Thomas More, but he blew an early whistle before that, and I think the point is going to stay with Carolina. Either that or they're just going to do a clean replay of it. And they are going to do a replay. So I believe, yep, they're going to do a replay. So it's like that never happened because remember, we can't do an instant replay here at this level. So we're going to do it now. The same play, 23-19.
Litzler knocks it over. Set by Glasgow. Knocked over by Pickett. Litzler gets a hand on it. Big hit from Ware, and it's in.
Yeah, he got a full palm on that one. So here comes set point for Thomas More trying to take a 2-0 lead.
Big hit by Litzler. Oh, great save by Glasgow, but it's out. And that's a set win for the Thomas More Saints. And we'll be right back with set 3 here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. And we're back for set number 3 of the Bruins Saints game.
Yeah, in that first set, I mean, what a doozy that was, huh? 40-38. Carolina University had multiple chances at set point to win their first ever set in school history, and then Thomas More fought all the way back. They were down at one point by 5 and won that one 40-38. Then in the second set, it was all Thomas More, except for a few mistakes here and there. 25-19 seems a bit courteous as to how close that one actually was. It was all Thomas More, and now we got to see what the Saints are able to do here. They're on a 4-game losing streak, and for Bluefield College, playing them after this, it's going to be the big matchup in this tri-match.
And the Bruins, they looked to get their first set win, and they were looking tough up until the very end. And
yeah, they definitely were tough in that first set. And with Carolina University, they fought hard and just made less mistakes than Thomas More did in that first set for most of the time. And then we talk about the mental hurdle. They just could not get over that mental hurdle of winning the set. Of winning that set. He's got to manifest the idea that they can actually win a set, and they were so close to being able to.
We haven't mentioned that the head coach of the Thomas More volleyball team is Zach Ober, who's there in his second season. He's been a really big key part in getting those 4 wins.
Yeah, and for Thomas More, just trying to target a little bit more of the volleyball community in Kentucky, and already a good start here in set number 3.
Good kill by Chris Carlson. Up to serve is Mason Cobbler. Serve, and it's hit out. Cobbler's been a big part of the offense and the defense for the Saints today.
Yeah, especially on those serves, right? I mean, he has done a great job of being able to spin a few good ones in there, and unfortunately right there, just see one a little bit too far for the Saints.
Big dig by Zettler and a big smack by Jan Nunez-Gonzalez.
Yeah, Nunez-Gonzalez just teed up right in the middle, able to smack that one down, and a big play, certainly.
Very intimidating looking guy with glasses.
No, I tell you what, it's right in the middle. And when you don't have that height there with Smart on the bench in the rotation, it's a little bit tough to get in front of that big swing.
McHenry hits in the service error.
Lots of service errors today between the Bruins and the Saints.
Glasgow up to serve. He hits it over. Litzler gets a piece of it. Set by Cobbler. Hit down by Jacob Werman.
It goes back to what we saw in the first set out of Thomas More. Look, this is a team that knows how to pass. They know how to find their outside hitters, but they just have not consistently been able to do so.
Set. And it's hit out by Brittany Bartlett.
And no, they're going to say that Carolina actually Thomas More got a piece of it. Now it's all tied up.
3-3. Starting to look like a replay of set 1.
Right, and I tell you what, I don't think we'll ever see something like that again. Now, famous last words, we're going to try to rival that 87-85 game 42 years ago in Czechoslovakia.
And then Stephen Wilson knocks it out.
Stephen Wilson made a lot of noise in that first game against Bluefield College, and he's been a little bit more quiet here in game number 2, final game of the day for Carolina University.
Over by Young and just grifted over by Casson.
Yeah, I wonder why Casson didn't jump up to smack that one down, and now an error on the attack again.
5-3 the score. Young up to serve. Young's been a very big part of the serving team for Thomas More.
Yeah, they started to serve better right at the end, and just a little bit better. And now as we say that, once again, another service error.
Diggs up to serve. Libero for the Bruins. Here's the hit, and it's a service error.
Oh, back and forth we go, huh, Jackson?
Starting to get flashbacks to set 1.
Yeah.
6-4 the score.
Getting a cold sweat start to roll down the back of your neck like that when they keep doing it. Just to instill the fear into you.
Cameron Ware up to serve. He knocks it. 2 Bruins got hold on that. And then a big hit by Wilson. Over by Carlson. Big smack by Pickett. Oh, and Casson knocks it into the net.
Yeah, Casson, the block was there once again, though. Carolina University. I mean, you look at how many points they score, and I think for both teams, only a few of them have actually been from attacks that they've been able to land in. I'm going to have to look at that after the game, how they're able to, how many points have actually been scored on actual kills and not errors.
Mason Cobbler tried to get a little cheeky there and Trying to barely tap it over, but just hit into the net.
Yeah, you got a little mixed up on that dunk play, and he's been able to execute that dunk play earlier.
Big set by Cobbler. A big hit from Cobbler, but a big block from Ronald Smart.
Yeah, Ronald Smart right there, and here comes the lead right back to Carolina University.
Back and forth we go. From Pickett, over set by Young. A big smack by Casson. Point Bruins.
I know, 2-point lead. This is where we saw really get Carolina University jump out to a big lead because Thomas More got out of rhythm.
Set by Cobbler, big hit by Carlson. Big smack, recovery by Litzler. Set by Cobbler, a big hit from Carlson. And it's knocked out of there by Diggs.
Yeah, a good job by Thomas More, telegraphing the passes a little bit more, getting a little bit better at it. And the Bruins got a little discombobulated there off of a good attack.
Casson up to serve. Comes to serve. It's hit. Up by Gasco. Ronald Smart hits it right into the net, trying to spike it over.
And Ronald Smart, definitely a guy with a lot of strength, and sometimes just doesn't know how to use it to his own advantage.
And their mistakes have led them back into an 8-8 game.
Yep, 8-8. Here we go, Thomas More. This is where they were able to kind of jump ahead there.
Casson knocks it over. Diggs. Oh, and a big spike by Mason Cobbler gives Thomas More the lead.
Yeah, Cobbler. Right there was an overpass over the net, and Cobbler just timed it up perfectly to stuff the ball down.
Casson hits it. Diggs. Oh, a big miss by Ronald Smart.
Yeah, Ronald Smart, even with that height, just jumping up, had it timed well. That was a good pass, and just mistimed it on the jump.
Service error by Casson after 3 great serves.
Yeah, and that's the second time we've seen that exact serve. One time he missed the entire post there.
You know, and I see that the numbers really vary with the small Carolina roster, and I was always number 1. When I said I wanted to be number 1 in football, they said, "No, you're no lineman, you can't."
Right. Well, I mean, it is a bit interesting that Ronald Smart's able to pick 31, and well, there's nobody on the floor, right? There's only 7 members on the team, so you could really just have a 7 guys, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That'd be too easy that
Yeah,
way.
to be right.
Mason Cobbler up to serve. Big hit. Dig by Diggs. Big hit by Brady Bartlett.
Off of the roof, and Thomas More could have played that, I believe. If it hits the roof, it's still playable.
Carolina creeping back, trying to get their first win. 1-point deficit. Well, Smart hits it over. Big hit by Carlson, and it's out of there.
Carlson had that played in the wrong time. He was already swinging when the ball was coming down as opposed to meeting the apex of that serve, or excuse me, the set.
And Ronald Smart with the service error. Point goes back to the Saints.
Yeah, both teams, I think that maybe the object of next year, just getting a little bit better and more consistent at serving.
Served by McHenry. Hits it over. Set by Glasgow. Big hit by Bartlett. Henry hits it up. Quentin Roberts has a hit on it.
Yeah, Quentin Roberts turned around.
Point Thomas More.
A point for Thomas More, calling an error of some sort on Carolina. I don't even think the Bruins are 100% sure what that call was for them either.
McHenry up to serve. Knocks it over, and it's out. A little too hard.
A little too hard. It's a bit generous. He tried to knock Richard Morgan's door open down there.
I hope he's not in it right now.
I don't think he is. If not, if he was taking a nap, that certainly would have woke him up because that ball hit the door with a loud thud.
Hit by Glasgow. Set by Cobbler. And a big hit by number 3, Jacob Warman.
Yeah, Warman talked about meeting the right timing of these sets, and Warman was definitely able to do that.
Blitzler, the Kentucky native. Hits it over. Set by Glasgow. Big hit by Pickett. Set by Levitz. Set by Cobbler. Big hit by Quentin Roberts, but it's out of there.
Yeah, once again, these attack errors keeping Carolina University into it.
Brady Bartlett up to serve. Big hit. Levitz gets a piece of it. Set by Cobbler. And a flipped over by Casson.
Glasgow doing a good job stepping up to that ball as well.
Casson knocks it. Set by Cobbler. And a big floater by Quentin Roberts.
They call it double for Carolina. Yeah. Just reading the spin of the ball as they were trying to pass the ball over, a double ball handling error. So now Thomas More, the magic number, just 10 away.
Connor Young up to serve. Big hit. It's over. Set by Glasgow. Big hit by Wilson. Robert trips over Levitz.
Yeah, Roberts wasn't ready. I mean, he was on the floor right there, and they slipped over Litzler, and Roberts said, well, my bad.
Casson really tried to get under it, but could not get it over the net. Up to serve is Diggs. Diggs knocks it over. Connor Young sets. Big hit by Casson. Set. And it's hit out. Oh.
Well, they're going to have to do a replay here. An inverted whistle. Official blew the whistle too early, and I think he might have bailed out Thomas More there because Carolina had that ball in down the line. So they're going to replay it at 15-14.
Diggs to serve. Hits it up, hits it over. Set by Cobbler. Big hit by Casson. Big smack. Big smack by Quentin Roberts. It takes out.
I think that might have been Casson, actually, right there in the middle. Ronald Smart was coming down, and with that block, just bounced off of his own chest.
Cameron Ware up to serve. Dribble a couple times. Big smack over. Set. Big smack by Wilson. It's the kill.
Another big kill for Wilson. About right, still a 1-point game. Carolina University trying to walk out of this one with a win and maybe send this one to another set.
You can see how Carolina's still fighting. They came back from a 4-point deficit to limit it to 1. Cobbler, Casson, and it's in. So point Thomas More.
Yeah, Thomas More going right down the line there with Casson, just seeing that ball glide up, found out that there's nobody down the line to even try to defend that, and the block was towards the middle of the net, so a quick play and a good one.
Set by Glasgow, hit over by Diggs. Big block. Knocked by Smart. Hit over by Wilson. Hand on it. And a big block by Ronald Smart.
Ronald Smart wagging his finger there. Cobbler tried to go back for the dump, and the middle blocker was right there. The official telling him to stop doing that. Just try to get the ball back. And, I mean, it seems a bit harmless to me. It's not like he's saying anything. Just a simple wag of the finger is fine.
Set by Cobbler. Big smack by Jan, and it gets over the net. And it's a point, Thomas More.
Yeah, point right back to Thomas More, right going back at Smart, who had the big block in the last play.
Cobbler up to serve. Hits it over. Diggs. Set by Glasgow. Big hit by Pickett. And it's out.
Yeah, that was out. That was very close. And a big timeout coming up here.
And with that, it's 19-16. Thomas More, 6 away from a sweep. And we're back. 19-16 to score. Mason Cobbler up to serve.
Yeah, Thomas More, remember they've lost 4 in a row coming into this one, so it's going to be big for the Saints to try to anchor down and get this big win here.
Big hit by Pickett. Set by Cobbler. Big hit by Carlson, but it's out of there.
Yeah, and the passing has just been good the entire time. You talk about the setters for Thomas More. They've had great opportunities to absolutely just destroy these passes, and they haven't been able to consistently, and that's why Carolina's only down by 2.
Cobbler set. Big hit by Jan. And it's a point.
Yeah, a point for Nunez Gonzalez. Turned around, went down the line, and it dropped in.
McHenry up to serve. McHenry with the serve. It's over. Set by Hart. Big hit by Pickett. It's a kill.
Yeah, for Brady Bartlett going right up against that double of the block and just rolled right through the middle of it. And that's probably one of the best swings today from anybody on Carolina.
Served by Glasgow. Set by Cobbler. Over by Werman. Set by Glasgow. Over by Pickett. Big hit from Mary, and it's out.
Yeah, just out, tried to blast it to the back, and McHenry is wondering how he missed that there. And especially from that angle, it probably looked like it dropped in, but it was very close, but out, at least from what we could see up here.
And now it's a 1-point game. Big hit by Carroll, and it's in, and now it's a tied game.
What an ace by Glasgow, though. I mean, Taj Glasgow spun that ball in, able to fire it to the back and see if Carolina can take the lead here.
Trying to get the first set win in school history. And it's head out, service error.
And just like that, right back into it with a service error.
Thomas More leads by 1 with Litzler up to serve. Glasgow tried to knock it. And we're going to break here in 1 second. Actually, we're going to keep it here. Really, the Carolina, they're just going back and forth. And they've come back from a 4-point deficit in this match.
Yeah, they have. And what you saw there, though, a couple of mistakes in a row and untimely ones. And I think that's really just been the real trend of Carolina University against Thomas More that started all the way back in the first set when they were up by 5, where Thomas More made a good amount of mistakes, and for Carolina just wasn't able to capitalize on it very consistently. Now what we're seeing, Thomas More making a few untimely mistakes, and then after an ace, saw a service error from Glasgow, and then on that pass didn't have his communication right with Bartlett on the outside. So for Carolina, I think that they really just have that last mental hurdle they just need to leap over to try to at least win one set. Because we saw there in set one, they just could not finish. And they just need to be able to manifest that idea and deliver on it.
If you're Coach Ferguson, what are you telling your team leader, Glasgow?
Well, I'm telling you just got to calm down and get these passes right to your outside hitter, because he has been able to do that for most of the match. And here, great pass up to Bartlett right out of the break.
Set by Cobbler. Big hit by Casson, and it's in. 23-20, 2 point away from a 3-set sweep.
Yeah, and what you saw there from Casson, I mean, it absolutely delivered on a big swing. That's the fullest potential of Thomas More right there, because there was nothing they could do about it in a big ace.
And now it's a set point for the Thomas More Saints. Actually, it's a game point.
Yeah, not only set point, match point coming up here, and a great guy to do it in Litzler, who's already got a couple of aces that have snuck up on Carolina.
So knocks it over. Set by Glasgow. Big hit by Bartlett. And it's point Bruins.
Yeah, so the Bruins not out of this. Remember, the first one went 40-38. Here comes Bartlett.
Bartlett with the serve. Hit by McHenry. Big hit by Quentin Roberts. And they just can't get it. And with that, Thomas More sweeps the Bruins 3-0, ending their 4-match losing streak.
Yeah, tough one for Carolina University, even after leading by so much there in set number one. But Jackson, you saw with Thomas More, tons of potential for that team. Finally getting the passes right, trying to communicate a little bit better in there. And that final set, winning 25-21, gave it to Carolina to be a little bit close. But now we're going to have to see what Thomas More can do against Bluefield.
And they come back at 5 for the Bluefield comes to try to avenge their loss. Thomas More, who beat them in 3 sets last time. Now, I'm Jackson Bass here with Bailey Angles on the Rams Digital Sports Network.